Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Etech Leadership Table. This is a podcast where we invite you to pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and join us as we tackle some remarkable discussions on everything leadership. I'm Melissa Wood. I'm your host. I'm the Dean of Leadership Development at Etech Global Services. Welcome to today's episode of the Leadership Table. We have a treat in store for you today. I love sitting around the table. Over my lifetime, I've had some of my most dynamic and actually real discussions at the table. Today, sitting across the table with me is David Carrizales. Hello, David.
Hello, Melissa. How are you?
I'm well. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a beautiful, beautiful day in Lufkin, East Texas over here. Great day.
I love East Texas. You cannot beat the trees and the greenery. There's probably 100,000 shades of green in East Texas right now.
Yes, absolutely. And it's hot.
It's
very hot. Yes.
Okay.
And humid. Oh,
very humid.
Yeah.
I was talking to our friends in India today, and they said it was like 45, which I think is like 109 or 114 Fahrenheit weather. So,
wow.
They're burning well. So, I'm glad that you're sitting at the table at the air-conditioned room at the table with me today. Do you have something in your... Did you bring tea or coffee, or what did you bring to the table today?
I got coffee. Coffee. Always coffee.
Always
and I have
coffee.
an apple. I have an apple for lunch. I eat an apple a day.
An apple a day makes performance problems go away. That's my
Yes, it does. I like it.
So for all of our viewers, we're going to have tons of viewers on our podcast, and I welcome them to pull up the table. I just want everybody to feel comfortable as they sit around the table and chat.
Sure.
So I want you to feel comfortable. And, I don't know about you, but growing up, I sat at the table, and we had some of the best discussions at the table on all sorts of topics.
Yes, we still do.
Well,
still do.
Yeah. Today's topic is going to be operational focus, and I believe you have a lot of experience in that area.
I do. I've been doing this for 24 years now. 24 years.
That's not dog years either.
That's not dog years. No.
Yeah, I was looking over your information, and I see here that there's an old country song that says, "I've been everywhere, man, across the rivers, bare man, breathe the mountain air, man. I've been everywhere." And
yes.
when I started thinking about the places to sit with you at the table, I started thinking, you've been to Louisiana, Ohio, Alabama, North and South Carolina, Kentucky, Connecticut, Florida, and Georgia. And these are not vacation spots. These are actual spots that you went to work in operations.
That's correct. Yes.
Dare I ask, what's your favorite one? Do you have a favorite spot?
I do. Actually, now for favorite is Texas. We're from Texas. We want to be home in Texas. Texas is our spot. But I loved North Carolina. It is beautiful. And I'm a golfer, and there's a golf course with a stone's throw. Right, and they're immaculate. They're absolutely ridiculous. So North Carolina was one of my favorite, and then Alabama was beautiful. Alabama. Now I only lived in Alabama for 10 months. 10 months.
Okay.
I went down there to start a call center, got it up and running, performing in 10 months, and then I moved to Georgia. Yeah.
Out. So you're basically, for 24 years, you really lived and breathed the call center environment.
That's what I've done. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's impeccable. This is call center is a hard job to be in it all over the United States and to stay in this environment and to still have the passion that you have about it. I find is amazing. Let me tell our listeners a little bit more about you, because I know you just skimmed over that I like to play golf. To my viewers, all of you guys sitting at the table with me today, he does more than like to play golf. David probably should have been pro at the golf. He got a full ride scholarship, if I can remember right, to college to play golf, and he still plays. Probably, if you see him a little red, he probably played this morning before he came to work. There's no telling.
During the summertime, I get out a lot. Yeah.
He definitely loves golf. And that kind of shows our viewers when we talk about, today we're talking about the impact of operations and customer service. That's our table talk today. But, to have a balanced work and life, I believe that's been able to keep you in the industry for 24 years. So go on record to say Melissa Wood thinks David should still play golf. I think that's good for you. Permission to do so.
I will absolutely continue to do that. And my son's into it now. He's 12. He's been playing for about a year and a half. He's got the bug. He's passionate about it. And my pop and I play as often as we can when I see him. And golf is a cool sport because it's one of the sports you can play for as long as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, getting it. I have friends that are 85, 90 years old that are still swinging that club. So that's a pretty cool gig. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I haven't shared this with anybody before, but my dad taught me to play golf. We actually spent almost every day on the golf course, and my dad's a tremendous golf player. My first golf bag was an Arnold Palmer golf bag. So impressed. But my dad got cancer, and he got really ill, and he duct taped a golf, his club to his hand to go out, and he played during chemo and radiation. Because he just didn't have this keep holding it. So that just the ability to be out there on the course and play like that. You're right. It doesn't matter sick or ill. It makes you sick sometimes, but hopefully when you get out there. Well, there's a lot more to you. Definitely. I want our people sitting at the table with us and you just sitting there drinking a cup of coffee and 24 years in the call center experience, and that you've been, you've just not been in one site. You've been in multiple sites all across the country. Now you handle everything. From, you had your hand in our India team, our Jamaica team. You are full force in with our Jamaica team and everything United States. So I'm just really glad that you joined us at the table today to talk about these things. You've had your hand in advertising and marketing, digital, direct mail, mobile. We even talked early this morning about some new adventures that you have on your plate.
Correct. That's correct.
Surprised in the world of, but the one thing I want our viewers to our podcasters to know is that you are extremely adamant about the professional development of yourself and those that you lead. That is a key to bring you to the table sitting with us today. So if I just want to I know it's not one of the questions I was going to pose to you, but see, I'm the podcaster and I get to do that. That's why I love being on this side of the table. What happened there? You definitely are an operations driven, you're business minded, extremely intelligent. Where did this desire that you have, you start that unbelievable right? You have your own outside of here. Where did that come from?
I would tell you that, so I was an English teacher for a couple of years. And that's, when I graduated from college, I taught English, and I was fascinated with just really working with some of the students to help them understand that they're capable of whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter your circumstance. It doesn't matter if you got to study harder, you study harder. If you got to work to make money to pursue something, you can do it. I mean, there were so many times that I felt like people put limitations on themselves. And I was like, how do we break through those limitations? How do we get through that? And really was through personal development. It started with myself, obviously. I needed to spend a lot of time really working through what, my fears and my limitations, and why can't I do that? Why wouldn't I try that? And so really it all kicked off. I think I would tell you that it clicked around 2007 for me. I mean, I can remember I was in Shreveport, Louisiana. I was in a remote office. It was West Monroe, where we were working in that area. And I was in a hotel room, and our team wasn't doing very well. We were just struggling and struggling and struggling. So I took this whole day and said, we're not going to work today, because we were all in a hotel. We were all just away from home. I said, we're not going to work today. What we're going to do today is we're going to have breakfast together. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about what's going on in your life. We're going to talk about what you want to do. And then we're going to talk about how what we're doing here can impact that. And that's what we did. We spent that whole entire day doing that. And that's kind of where my other business started in my head, where the believe in the unbelievable and trusting your instincts and really leaning on your experience and then leaning on each other. I think a lot of times people are like, want to ask a question, and I don't want to lean on this person because, they're going to think I don't know enough. And that's not a weakness. That is a big strength, to pull all your resources together. So that really kicked it off for me. And then I realized when I watched people, my sales folks, hit goals and then go on these crazy trips. They would go on these crazy trips at president's clubs and stuff. And they would just be so excited and then realize that they could. They realized that they could. And so then that's really jump started it for me. You fast forward to now, and I came back to Etech, over 8 years ago. And really when I decided to come back to Etech and started looking at our character commitments and our vision about making a remarkable difference for each other and for our clients and our community, what I saw very quickly, it wasn't just words on a website. It was people living this. It was people experiencing it. And our servant-led culture just lent itself to what was already in my head. And it was funny because before I came here, I had to write up a little article for Etech. And in there, I said, my purpose is to help people reach their personal, professional goals. And what I've understood over time is that in order to do that, really, it's all intertwined. If you have professional goals, those are probably, if not 100%, going to impact your personal goals. It influences those opportunities. So for me, it became a way of life for me. It was just something that I'm passionate about. I like to see people reach a potential they didn't realize they could reach and then exceed it and go, oh my goodness, I can do more. You can do more. You absolutely can do more. So being in leadership position and being able to coach and develop people and really pull out of them maybe what they don't see or realize about themselves, that's just something that's irreplaceable. And that's what drives me every day. That's why I love this contact center business, because it's in constant change. It changes every day. It's like a puzzle, but it's so fun for me. I just enjoy being able to develop and work and just, I like the serve model. My favorite part of the serve model is reinvent continuously. And I feel like this industry allows us the opportunity to do that. So I love it. Love it.
Absolutely. I wanted everybody else sitting at the table with us to hear this foundation because, our podcasters had some questions that I'm gonna ask you, but when you explain that, that's really the foundation of why you've done some of the things that you've done at Etech and why the answers that you're going to give to some of their questions are out here. So let's, that gives us a good foundation of who DC is. Yeah. For those who don't know, we call him DC, right? Who DC is, why DC does what he does. And then you'll see that this passion you have and this, who you really are at your core really drives some of this, ever-changing call center world when it comes to how we treat customer service. So some of our podcasters, you can at the table, they've asked some questions. So let me ask you a few of these questions. You ready?
Okay.
And you don't.
Yes, I'm ready.
I won't do a buzzer if you get them wrong. Like you just answer from your heart. Okay.
You got it.
All right. So in the last few years, obviously the contact center industry has been turned entirely on its head and been forced to reconsider the way we do service, right? So what do you see as the biggest challenge and opportunity currently?
It's one in what I see over the last 24 years, one of the things that has really plagued a lot of this industry is agent attrition. It is absolutely losing individuals. And a lot of businesses out there today, they're offering more money, or they're offering a signing bonus, or they're offering this or that. Hey, here's our commission plan. But that doesn't retain people. People want to be able to see that they have an opportunity to grow. They want to be able to see that they have an opportunity to be developed. And you know what? Sometimes they learn skill sets here and then they go do something else. And I'm okay with that too, because they're taking that and they're out there talking about, hey, I learned this servant leadership culture. I learned how to sell. I learned how to navigate this, and they take it maybe to their nursing industry, or they take it to, teaching, or whatever it is that they're doing. That's kind of a cool thing. But agent attrition right now is probably one of the biggest concerns that I currently have. How do you keep people? How do you keep people? And that, for us at Etech, that's culture. It's 100% culture. We're out there being competitive. We're working on being the employer of choice, not just the best employer, the employer of choice. I'm choosing to want to be a part of Etech. So that's probably one of the biggest things that are plaguing us right now.
Okay, I agree to that. That's, you see that in just, it doesn't matter what industry you're in at this point. That's just so. Well, you laid out the challenge. So what it says, how do you deal with the challenge at leading contact centers through this revolution? What are we doing with this changing times? What are you doing? What's the solution?
Yeah. So, really, when the COVID and all that different stuff hit, we just leaned on our values. We leaned heavily on our vision. And I mentioned it earlier, making a remarkable difference for each other, our customers and our communities. We leaned on that. And we also focused on two main priorities at that time. And those priorities were, one, ensuring that we could allow people to continue to make a living, their livelihoods. How do we support their livelihoods? And also our clients. Our clients depend on us to get people at work. They depend on us to keep people at work. So by leaning on those two things and focusing primarily on the safety of our people, making sure that they continue to earn, making sure that we continue to meet the needs of our clients, that's what really, in my opinion, was a differentiator for Etech. Now how did we do that? We pivoted so quickly. And this is what I love about Etech, and if I can give anybody an advice, that was the time and the opportunity to show what One Etech is all about. And everybody came together, from facilities, from training, HR, operations, our data, EI department, you name it. Everybody came to a table with their portion of this pie. And how on earth are we going to allow everybody the opportunity to continue to work? And we pivoted. We send everybody home. We had work from home contingency. We left our site open, though, for those that couldn't work at home, and we spread them out so they felt safe. And we met all the protocol, and we did that so quickly. But again, for me, when you talk about how do we deal with the changing times, you got to be adaptable. It's one of our character commitments. And that really meant for us to change our complete way of thinking and say I always say it's not what people will say, I can't do this. I always say, well, what can we do? What can we do? Focus on what can we do, not what we can't do. What is us? And even if it's a small itty bitty solution, it's still a solution. What can we do? And so Etech focused on that, and we leaned heavily on what we know. And we sent everybody to the house, and we allowed them to continue to work. And what came out of that was we created a work from home contingency. We now have, the ability for people to work from home on programs that at that time you wouldn't believe that they would ever allow us to go home. But because of our security departments and the different things that we do, we were able to show our clients that we can do this, and we can do it the right way and still protect the integrity of your security, of your program, of our people, your people, and continue to do business. And that was a big deal for us.
Yeah, that was, and I love the way you said we leaned on our culture. And we did. We said, how can we keep people making money? Everybody was scared, right? And I love that we have a contingent. So there were a lot of things, this is a different podcast. That's why our listeners tune in, because we talk about things we did well. David, you're not ready for this question, but get ready.
All right.
How did we mess up? We have to fail forward, right? We make mistakes. So how have we messed up, and how have we corrected some of those things?
I would tell you that, when we started sending everybody home, we didn't think about internet speeds. We didn't think about people that maybe had other people at their home. We didn't think about, maybe the computer was going to break down, So there was, we did our due diligence to get everybody home. And then we kind of learned along the way. We started to realize, well, not everybody can work from the house, or not everybody is proficient enough, if for lack of a better statement, to work from the house. And so that was a big mistake. While our productivity overall went up because people did like working from the home, we made some mistakes, man. We lost some people, we lost some talent. I think some of the other things that we didn't do effectively was utilize the technology, the Teams and the Zooms and the different things to connect with people every single day. We went from, having rewards and recognition on site and celebrating people and sitting across and having a conversation to overnight, I don't get to see anybody for the next 6-8 months. And we didn't really do an effective job of nurturing our people in that regards, of reaching out. Are you okay? How's it going? What do you need? How can I help you? And so when I look back at that, I feel like that was an area we should have done better at, not just with our agents, but with us, our leadership. We were all used to having community and sitting down and talking to each other. We took for granted I could walk across the hallway and have a conversation with somebody, and then all of a sudden that wasn't there anymore. What we also didn't do very good at the very beginning is educate people on how to shut it down. I'm guilty of this. I would sit at that computer at 7:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting at that computer at 7:30 at night, because there was no stop for me that says turn it off, walk away from it. And so at the very beginning, I would tell you, we pivoted throughout it. We realized that our leadership development team, you and all that, putting things together to tell people, how do you step away? How do you shut it down? How do you get up and take a walk? And as we went on, we encouraged that. We said, take walks, get away, have a meeting where you don't talk about anything about what's going on, what's happening, have a cup of coffee with somebody. But we didn't do a good job of that at the beginning. And I think it put a lot of strain and stress on people that were just, that liked the personal interaction. And once that went away, I think we could have did a better job of helping them navigate through some of that.
I agree. I know that for our leadership development team, we just had to do a lot of scratch work in the back end on how to lead remotely, how to lead hybridly, how to connect with your team virtually, those types of things. I believe that our culture hurt us and helped us in the same way. We were also connected with our culture, and we immediately all got disconnected. And I think we operated okay for a while, and then it put us in shock of not being connected. Then you start getting into text messages and emails, and we don't. And those. But when we think about the hybrid workforce, you still have hybrid. We still have. We're meeting virtually right now. We're having You're drinking coffee. I didn't tell our podcasters I am drinking my water today. But do you think the hybrid model is a future for the contact center, and why, and what impact do you think it has on contact center operations?
100%. That is a model that has got to continue to be here. Especially if you look at how we are currently today, the ability for folks not to have to drive to work. That's a pay raise. You don't have to put gas in your car. Childcare, they may have figured out a way to effectively have childcare. I love it because I personally have been able to hire single parents that maybe wouldn't have been able to come do this before. So it is extremely, it also opened up avenues for us to recruit outside of our area. Maybe we hire somebody that's not in this county because they need the opportunity. They're very proficient at what they do, but they can't drive 45 minutes to come work for us, but they can work from their home and still have the opportunity to do it. So this model, I will tell you, it's not going anywhere. It is a vital and very important part of this industry moving forward, and it's got to be here to stay. I think there is a hybrid model, and because what you've created also, maybe inadvertently, is you've now created the privilege of working from the house. Not just anybody can work from home. And so it's allowed us the opportunity to really say, hey, we are going to provide you this opportunity, but your performance has to meet a certain standard in order for you to be able to work from the home. So it's really elevated some people saying, I want this. I really want to do this. And in order for me to be able to do that, I have to perform. I have to come to work. I have to be available. And so it's a self-created model. And again, maybe it wasn't intentional, but here it is, right? You're doing this. And so in today's, I would tell you, what we also did years ago is we stopped looking at attrition, which takes me back to that first question, and we started looking at retention. So for those of you who don't know, attrition is I'm attriting people, I'm losing people. Retention is I'm retaining people. So we shift our model at Etech to look at retention. Why do people want to be here? Why do they want to stay? Not why they're leaving. And when you start really digging in that and pulling back the onion on why people want to stay, it is the ability to have multiple ways to work, whether that's part-time, whether that's nighttime. People got crazy school schedules. They might have personal crazy schedules. The ability to work from the house, and work weekends, work nights. And so by us having the ability to offer a way for people to work that fits them, you're creating just a nice work environment for people. It's exciting. And so, yeah, work from home model is going to continue to be here. I think it's going to continue to develop. And I will tell you that Etech, our work from home contingency, I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. And then for a client, as long as we're performing, it doesn't matter to them. If we're continuing to do what we need to do and we're doing it at a better way, it doesn't matter to them whether we're in the building or we're at the house. Just keep doing what you're doing and making that remarkable difference.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You have been absolutely a plethora of information sitting at the table today. I don't know what you put in your coffee, but you got the answers coming. You said the word intentional quite a bit, and I heard you say maybe we weren't as intentional when it comes to the hybrid model, but you are now. We are being intentional on connection, how to leverage those resources. Just like you said, you're being intentional of it's now a privilege to work from home, right? For some of these folks, us included, right? And so I really like the fact that you are constantly thinking of intentional ways to make this work from home model, this hybrid program work for our frontline leaders. Just the ability to be able to have a leader now that can manage a team across the country, right? You don't have to have your team right in your side. So I really like that you're very clear at the table when you say it's not going away. It's not going away. The hybrid program is not going away. Etech, actually, we're capitalizing on this hybrid program. So John Maxwell has I love his law of intentionality. What we focus on, we finish. And I know that you believe in that law of intentionality. So thank you for being intentional today about being clear and concise questions. Our podcasters had some great questions out there. So you guys keep them coming for the questions that you're asking. And David, you got to come back and sit at the table with us again.
I would absolutely love to come sit at the table. Listen, I appreciate the opportunity. I love it. I love the opportunity to share some of the things that are in my heart, what I'm passionate about, why we do what we do. And so anytime you have me back, I'll come back.
I'm having you back. We get into the surface of, when it comes to leadership and really how you drive home with your leadership team in operations. They are key. And you've got some amazing leaders on your team, and that's because you have been intentional about developing them. So I just definitely want to bring you back to the table. Let's talk about leadership, everything leadership. Thank you for driving home with us today. Some clear and concise answers again on, the future of the contact industry and when it comes to customer service. So thanks for your time at the leadership table. Until next time, you guys join us for everything remarkable leadership at the Etech leadership table. We'll see you next podcast.
Bye, everyone.